After a lot of rumours and speculation, it is now confirmed that Carlo Ancelotti is going to be the new manager of the Brazilian national football team. The Seleção will appoint their first ever foreign manager after Carlo Ancelotti leaves Real Madrid at the end of this season. It was rumoured that Carlo was going to be sacked, unfortunately, from Real Madrid. They haven't quite performed this season on the level that they have come to expect. They're probably going to lose out to the La Liga title. They, of course, have not won the Champions League. That really is enough to get rid of him, unfortunately, for Real Madrid standards. For me, he's still one of the GOATs of management. Without a doubt, he is one of the legends of the game. And that is pretty much what the Seleção have said as well, the Brazilian national football team, when they have appointed him as their manager. They said he's a legend of the game. They have said that he's one of the all-time greats of football management, and he absolutely is. There is no doubt about that. But the big question that everybody is going to be wondering is he good enough to be able to win the World Cup with Brazil? Because that's ultimately what Brazil wants. Brazil haven't won the World Cup since 2002, and we all remember the old Brazil side. I mean, I remember growing up and just being in absolute awe of Brazil. I mean, yeah, I remember 2002 World Cup. I remember watching the games like before school started because they were really early on in the morning, being in Japan and Korea, of course, so many hours ahead. We used to get into school early and just wheel out that old like CRT TV, and I used to watch it on the school floor. I remember watching England against Brazil and how good Brazil were. I mean, yeah, we're disappointed to go out of the World Cup in the quarterfinals like usual, or become usual, I should say, at that point, 3 times in a row under Sven. But, you know, Brazil, we weren't that annoyed about losing to Brazil because Brazil was like the team. You know, you feared Brazil. And ever since then, it's never really been the same, to be honest. Not been the same force to be reckoned with. They've not really gone deep in a World Cup tournament in a very long time. And you know, it's kind of sad to see, really, because you think of the beautiful game, you think of Joga Bonito, you think of all that sort of stuff, and that all comes from Brazil. And since then, it's just not been the same, really. So can Brazil win the World Cup with Carlo Ancelotti? Because that's ultimately what they want. They want to get that 6th star on that famous yellow jersey. So can they do it? Well, it's going to be a big task because at the end of the day, you know, it's not like the club game where you can just buy players in where you can bring players in to suit your system. Carlo has to work with what he's got, and he's never managed a national team before. That's going to be completely new to him. And he's already got a few critics in Brazil, believe it or not. I mean, you know, the Brazilian press, when it comes to their football team, it is absolutely incredible how passionate they are, shall we say, to put it kindly. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, he is also going to still be in Europe. He's not going to be moving to Brazil, and that has caused a bit of controversy over in Brazil. Of course, he's the first foreign coach of Brazil on top of that as well, so there's going to be a bit of added pressure there. But if anybody could take that kind of pressure, you know, someone who's managed, of course, some huge clubs in the past, Chelsea, AC Milan, currently manager of Real Madrid in like his second stint there, you know, he's used to pressure. It's not new for him to be able to kind of handle that. But Brazil is probably on another level to anything else, even more than something like England and even more than something like Real Madrid. It is an absolute pressure cooker of an environment. But, you know, I think he can do a very good job with them because Carlo is different in the modern game of football. He does very much go without a system. He just tells his players to go out there and play and enjoy themselves. It's the absolute antithesis to someone like Pep Guardiola, who's been so successful in the club game with a very rigid system, a very prescribed way of playing football. Some, you know, critics say robotic. Carlo is different. Carlo Ancelotti is completely different to that. And of course, he knows quite a few of the Brazilian players already, with the likes of Rodrigo and Endrick, and of course Vini Jr. all playing for Real Madrid currently. He knows a few of those players already. That will help him settle in there. I think it's going to be very entertaining to watch. Whether he can win the World Cup or not is another matter. It's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, it sounds daft, but only one team can win the World Cup. There are so many great national teams right now. You know, Argentina are the defending champions. Spain are the European champions. The likes of England, France, Germany. They are no pushovers. They're going to be very tough to beat as well during this tournament. So Brazil are always going to be among the favourites. They have to be. But you look at the players overall in the finale for Brazil, and honestly, I don't want to say they're not good enough. I think they are. But you wouldn't say they are quite the favourites. You wouldn't say that they're a cut above the rest. They are not on that level. You know, if you were to pick in terms of player for player, you would probably, you might say biased Englishman or whatever, but I would say England are probably better in terms of their depth. I would say France probably better. I'd say Spain probably better. And I'd say Argentina, sorry Brazil fans, it's going to hurt to say it, but I would say Argentina are probably at least on a par with Brazil right now in terms of their overall quality. But The thing is, right, it doesn't matter about being the best team. It matters about being the winner. That trophy on the World Cup says winner. And Carlo is a winner. He's won everything. Won everything in the club game. Absolutely everything. Can he do the same for the international scene? Yeah, why not? Why not? I think it's possible, but he has to hit the ground running. He's got to have a good World Cup. If he doesn't make at least, I think, minimum semi-finals, I think he'd be out the door. And I don't think that's the right thing to do, by the way. I just think that would happen because we know what the Brazilian FA are like. They are, the CBF are not the most level-headed of football associations. Shall we just say about that? But yeah, Ancelotti to Brazil. It's been rumoured about for ages, guys, but it's finally happened. Your thoughts about it in the comments below, as always. I want to hear what you have to say about this. And of course, like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this on the channel. Have a great day, wherever you are in the world today.